Hello and welcome to another Ice Tech FAQ from Manitowoc Ice. My name is Josh Klepadlo. I'm a technical trainer here at the Factory Training Center. And today we're out in the hands-on area and we're going to be taking a look at a Koolaire modular machine that no matter what position I put the toggle switch in, we get no response from the control board. It doesn't want to go into make ice and it doesn't want to go into clean mode. So today we're going to talk about how to properly diagnose what's going on with your switch, whether it's the switch or the harness, and how to get the machine up and running for the customer while you order parts. Let's dive in and take a look. Now we're zoomed in here, taking a look at the control box with the control panel. You see we do have power to this board. We know that because our low level light as well as our high water level light is on, and also our bid switch, or also known sometimes as the curtain switch, is lit. We see when we move the curtain here, we do get activation and deactivation of that light. So we know the control board does have power. It is doing some sort of logic. Just for some reason, when we flip this switch into the ice mode or the clean mode, we get no activation. So I've gone ahead and disconnected the incoming power from this machine, and I've also taken the 3 wires off of this switch. Got my multimeter set up here. I have it on just regular continuity. I do not have the beep function on right now because I don't want to blow your eardrums out during the video. We get asked this a lot when we're ohming out switches, whether it's this toggle switch or the 2 float switches on this machine. People want to know, what is the ohm reading of this? What should I be reading? And the answer is, really, there is no rating. It's just a light switch, essentially. So it should read the same every time that it closes, and it should read infinitely open every time that it opens. So before I go and put my leads onto this switch to test it, what I always do to get a good baseline is I hook my 2 leads together. So we see this is hovering right around 0.07, 0.06, 0.07, 0.08 on my leads. So I know that when I flip this switch to the closed position, I should be consistently reading somewhere between 0.06 and 0.08. So now one more thing before we get testing here. This is something that confuses a lot of newer techs. Even though we're pushing it to the left to go into an ice making mode, when we're pushing it to the left, we're actually closing the contacts between the right side and the middle terminal. If we were to switch it to the right, we would be closing the left side and the middle. So now you see I have my leads hooked up to the right side and the middle terminals of this switch. So now when we go and switch this over to the left side, you see we're still reading open. So that would explain why we were not turning on this control board into the ice making mode. Now we're going to switch it back to the center. I usually like to repeat this test a couple times, flip it back and forth. No activation. So I've gone ahead and moved my red lead over to the left side terminal now. I still have my black lead in the middle. So now let's push this switch to the right and see what we're reading in clean. And as expected, we have no continuity through this switch, even in clean mode, which would explain why this board was not activating to either a clean or a run input from this switch. So in order to get this customer up with some ice today, what we're going to simply do is take a jumper wire, or I call them a Mickey Mouse terminal. I don't know what they're actually called. It's a female stake-on with 2 males. You can put these both together on the switch, and that would create a closed loop and tell the control board to go into ice making mode. Today, I don't have one of those here, but I do have a standard alligator lead test wire here. So if we just clip these 2 together, you see the control board came on. We're now running water across the plate through our really cool clear curtain. You can see it. And this machine will stay on and make ice until it fills the bin up and shuts off on bin full with the curtain. At this point, we're going to be able to get the customer back up, get them some ice while we can go and get us a switch if we don't have one on the truck. Next, we're going to talk about how to wire a new switch and follow along with the wiring schematic so that we can get this wired back properly and working. I've gone ahead and removed the failed rocker switch. Now I'm going to put the new one in. You simply just push up from the bottom and clip into place. So I have our new on, off, and clean switch installed. Now we're ready to wire it up. Taking a look at the schematic here, you can see the control board and also the switch. And then you see the 3 wires inside of that harness running between the 2. If you look at where it shows closed, this is going to always represent during the ice making mode. So we see that in order to make ice, we need to have the wire all the way to the left and the wire all the way to the right closed. knowing what we know, where the middle terminal is the common, we can then go ahead and say that our wire that comes off of that 3-wire plug all the way to the right is going to go in the middle. So taking a close-up look at this harness, we see that our wire that is all the way to the right is our white wire. So that means our white wire is our common wire. We're going to go ahead and connect that into the middle. Now, knowing what we know, I said earlier, when we push this to the left, to the ice making mode, we close the contacts between the right and the middle. That would mean our ice making wire needs to go on the right. Consulting our wiring diagram again, we see that that is going to be the terminal or the wire all the way to the left-hand side of that plug. Looking at the plug again, we see that's going to be our red wire. So I'm going to take our red wire, put it on the right side terminal. Through the process of elimination, we know that the clean wire, the black wire, is going to go on the left terminal. Okay, now we have this new switch wired up. Let me restore power to this machine and see how it works. Okay, I've gone ahead and restored power to the machine, as you can tell by the green light indicating that the curtain is closed. Now, let's see, when we press it to the left, we come on and we're going to go into an ice making mode of operations. Let's just confirm our work, put it into the right mode, and the clean light is on. So we're good to go here. So hopefully now this helps some people understand how to properly diagnose these switches to see if they are closing, or if you have a control board issue, maybe a harness issue in between. You now know how to check for power on all of those, and also how to rewire this switch once you've replaced it. This method for rewiring following the schematic can be used on any of our machines that use a switch like this. Our older legacy machines previous to the Indigo, some of our undercounter machines still use a switch like this, as well as all the Koolairs. So this is good for a lot of different machines, just besides the Koolaire that we worked on today. So hopefully this helped. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. We appreciate you tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe for more content from Manitowoc Ice.